Hello, Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, good evening. Welcome to the SS Chandhok Talk Show. I'm your host and moderator, SS Chandhok. We have gathered here once again on a beautiful evening to talk about a very interesting topic, how to eliminate the fear of mathematics amongst the students. We had been talking about mathematics since few episodes. Why? And we want to talk it and take it further to the every part of the country because we had been seeing in from through ages at our times also that after grade 5 we started having the phobia of mathematics, especially from grade 6 onwards, and that anxiety or that pressure made the phobia. And the students, they are not ready to take up mathematics in their senior classes. Although mathematics is the most interesting subject, we know it very well that mathematics has to be used in every day of life, in every minute or second of your life, 24 into 7. So how this phobia can be removed, that was happening decades back, ages back, and it is still going on. We have gathered here to discuss about how we can remove this anxiety or this phobia of mathematics amongst the students. We have very special guests today from the different parts of the country as usual, but today we have, first of all, the first guest we have is Dr. Jawaid Alam Khan, sir. He doesn't need any introduction in Lucknow. He is the city coordinator and Saudia president and is ruling there in Lucknow from last 2 decades. 20 years is a big of plenty time. And people, every time there, he's being elected as the president or the chairman of the Saudias because he has been doing wonderful. Because Lucknow is quite near to my city. So I had been, listening about very good about him since long. And I wanted him to come into the show. And my request out of his busy schedule, sir has joined today. Thank you so much, Javed sir, for coming up to the show. First of all, although everybody knows about you, but first of all, Javed sir, we like to know about your education journey. Did you came into this profession by chance or by choice? And from a teacher to a senior principal and as well as joint director also in a school and also as city coordinator and Sahodia president from last 2 decades. Over to you, sir. Javed sir. Yes, sir. Javed sir, over to you. Sir, you are on mute, sir. Sir, you are on mute. Yeah.
I think I'm now not on mute. Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Sir Chandhok and all the very learned people. This technology, as you had initially said, sometimes puts us on hold and we are not able to hear or speak. I have been in this profession by choice. Teaching was very close to my heart even when I was in school. Somehow, I was probably impressed by the very learned teachers that who have taught me in school and college. And then I kept on and on till I reached the hem of education. As in education, studies, academics, we say when you do your research, your PhD, then you do your highest degree. Likewise, in the field of teaching, which we are learning every day, definitely, we become the principal or the director or whatever. That's the hem of our journey. That's what I am at, and I'm very blessed to be in the city of Lucknow. Lucknow has about 200 odd CBSE schools, and we are all very well connected. I am so lucky that I have principals, those who respect me a lot, and those who do things which we all feel are correct, even sometimes they are in trouble or unable to do. But with my request, I've never seen anything not happening in Lucknow schools. So I'm blessed to be amongst this good, learned teaching fraternity of Lucknow city. Not only Lucknow, I should say Kanpur also. I've had a very good association with schools, Varanasi, Sitapur, Barabanki, many adjoining places. We have been having very good time with all the educationists. Thank you so much, everybody, for being with me all the time.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming and welcome, sir. Next, we have another senior principal from Dehradun, that is Miss Arundhati Shukla, ma'am. She is the principal of DPSG from Dehradun. Welcome, Arundhati, ma'am, to the show, to the talk show. And you also have come for the very first time, ma'am. And because I have been associated with few of the principal from DPSG, at Lok sir also had been talking about all you people and all. So, ma'am, please let us know about your educational journey, ma'am. Arundhati, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chandhok, and it's a pleasure that I am here with all of you, and with all of your experiences. There is much that I can take back to my school. Sir, I have actually come from Lucknow itself. I had studied at City Montessori School in Lucknow, and thereafter I got a scholarship, so I studied at Welham Girls School. So I'm one of the fortunate ones who have studied at Welham, where the teachers were very good, and they were able to infuse me with the learning of physics and science and math. So this only brings me to this point that if the teachers are able to enthuse the students, math is not something to fear about.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Absolutely right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, and Arundhati, ma'am, and welcome, ma'am. Next, we
Thank you
have
so much.
next we have a very dynamic principal from Dehradun once again. That is Mr. Amarnath Biswas, sir. He is the principal of a very good school, dynamic school over there, Kingston Public School in Dehradun. Welcome, Amarnath, sir, to the show, and had a word with you yesterday also. It was very pleasure talking to you. Sir, please let us all of us know about your educational journey.
All, thank you, Mr. Chandhok, for it's an honor for me. Right now, meeting stalwarts like Khan Saab or Nams here. So first of all, it's a blessing for me. It's my first show, like Sir told about me, and like Chandhok sir said, for me, by chance I joined this profession. By chance, I'll be honest with you. Uh, I was just getting ready for IAS. Then I thought, 1 year I'll do some schooling somewhere to enhance my, the knowledge. But 1 year became 25 years. It's going on. Like Sir said, I was first began my journey in Dehradun School. I was 15 years, then went to Bahrain, 6 years in IB school, came back to Jammu, became principal. So I have worked in all the boards from ICC, CBSE, from IB, and back to India. And for me, teaching comes from the heart. We might have become the administrators, but being a teacher, it's a great privilege actually. I've been so lucky that even now, after so many years, my students who are spread out all over the world, they keep in contact with me through Facebook or social media, and it gives me a lot of pleasure. That's what we achieve actually. When the students you have taught, they come back to you and say, "Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am," and that is, the high which I get. And again, thank you, Chandok sir, for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is mine, sir. Thank you so much and welcome once again, sir. Next, we have Neelam Rohante, ma'am. She is the principal of another prestigious institution in Pune, that is Vardhaman English Medium School and Junior College. Neelam, ma'am, welcome to the show. Please let us know, you also let us know about your educational journey, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chandok. Thank you, all of you. It's a pleasure, and I feel honored and blessed to be on this talk show. This topic, Chandok sir, which you have taken to eliminate the fear of maths, it is very close to my heart. Till grade 8, I was that type of student who was very much afraid of maths. I always wanted that today maths teacher should be absent. And as Arundhati ma'am rightly said, that it is the teacher who develops the interest for a subject in a student. And in my case, there was a teacher who developed this interest. And he only, what you can say, inspired me to be a teacher. And after that, I joined this teaching profession by choice. Firstly, I was a teacher of mathematics. Then I became the HOD of mathematics. I have also taught in various boards, ICSE, CBSE. I was in Hyderabad, Secunderabad, I was in Nasik. I was in Germany also for a few years, and now I'm in Pune as a principal. And what I feel that this profession is a blessed profession. As Vishwasa rightly said, that when our students, they contact us, they tell us that, sir, ma'am, we have achieved this because of you. It gives that immense pleasure and accomplishment of our profession. That's what I think. And with this profession, we are never old. With the young generation, we are growing every day. Few years back, we were not knowing how to use the mobile phones, only WhatsApp. We were not knowing about Zoom and all, isn't it? For us, Facebook and WhatsApp, that also to some extent. But because of this generation, because of these students, because of this technology, we are again growing maturely young. That's what I think. I thank you, Chandhok sir, for inviting me on this show. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and welcome, ma'am, to the show. Wonderful experience also you have out of the education field. Thank you so much. Next, we have Manmita Rana, ma'am. She is also a principal of a very prestigious institution. Just a second, please. Manmita Das Rana, ma'am. She is the principal of a very prestigious chain of schools. Actually, it is in Bangalore, Edifice School. Welcome, ma'am, Rana, ma'am, to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on the show after a little long time, not a very long time. Please introduce yourself to the guest because they should also know. See, this is the show of the principals, by the principals, and for the principals. So thanks to technology, they make us connected the different parts of the country. Of course, I'll be sharing the contact details with each other because this community should get together and do something wonderful for the children related to the different topics related to the kids. Manmita ma'am, please let us know about your educational journey because I had been seeing you or following you in social media. You are everywhere in social media. Please.
First of all, thank you so much, Chandhok sir. It's a proud privilege to be here with this intellectual galaxy. And hello, everyone. And secondly, thank you to, as sir told, technology. Because of technology, we all are here, gathered here, and we are sharing our views. And thank you so much for that platform given by Chandhok sir. So right now I'm in Edify Bangalore, but I have started my journey by choice 24 years back as a TZT SST, social science teacher in KC International School, Jammu. After that, slowly, the, step by step, now in a principal position. My philosophy is regarding education. Like, I love to be with the children. I love to promote the learning. In fact, it's very important to develop that learning atmosphere among the children. As a friend, as a philosopher, as a guide. As ma'am said, nowadays the teaching it's a noble profession, I agree, but it's a challenge now. Maybe a teacher, maybe a principal. It's not that much easy to be a principal or a teacher because the children, they are also up to date. They are exposed to so many things, what we cannot, reach also. If you talk about, I talk about my time, my study time. So it's a proud privilege to be, it's a pleasure to be with those children. I believe that I can learn from the children also. I can learn from the teachers also. Like every day, something new we are learning. So we are, no doubt, we are teachers, no doubt we are principals, but first of all, we are learners. Thank you so much, sir.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful sharing and wonderful, thoughts you have. We will always remain as a learner and also as a teacher. We may become principal or senior principal, but we'll always remain a teacher for sure. And life is a long learning process. Till the last breath you take, you have to learn for sure. And that is the quality of a leader. Thank you so much, ma'am. Next, we'll come to the expert of today, Mr. Nirmal Shah. Sir is the co-founder of a very, good app that is known as Counting Well. So, talking about him, he is the co-founder of Counting Well, a maths learning app for middle schoolers. Their goal is to make maths learning easy, anxiety-free, and participative for children across the country. Their focus is to help the so-called average students to become more confident with maths and develop great problem-solving skills. They step in where school teachers are not able to provide personalized attention due to lack of time and bandwidth. Sir is also designing making career person and have live lessons courses for for the age of 10 to 14 built around mathematics. His funda is that kids must know that maths matter and it will matter throughout their life. The best way to do that is to show them how. So talking personally about him, I met him in one of the show where we were as co-speakers. He told me about the Counting Well, and he was telling me, I just wondered that why he came up with a subject which is entirely different. People go up with computers, the people go up with English. He came up with with this mathematics, and that to middle school. So he realized me that this is the problem which has been happening since long, that there is and always remain a phobia of mathematics. These AI-based tools which have developed, now they are helping, because the teachers are also saying, sir, that in a 40 students class or 40 minutes class, how can we pay personal attention to each and every student? So it is very well said that if you want to recognize a maths teacher, or you can recognize a maths teacher in a school differently, because his face will be different with a lot of stress on on his head, that I have to teach so much exercises, or so much work I have to do. So how to make it more interesting among the teachers and with the students and make it anxiety free? This is what we have come on today to discuss. Nirmal Shah sir, thank you so much and welcome once again to the show. Please let us know about yourself, and how did it came into your mind to start up with an app, especially with mathematics, and that too with the middle school. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me back to the show. And I appreciate your confidence in me that you've been calling me for so many episodes. And I hope I've been adding value to this whole stellar group of people which are here and which have been part of your shows in the past as well. So why we started Counting Well is that my background is from IT. I was the managing director and senior vice president of global delivery of a IT services company and consulting company. And as part of my work, I also used to hire a lot of people straight out of IITs. I would personally go to a very large number of IITs, and I did this for almost 7-8 years to interview the freshers who are just about to come out of the college and hire them. And one of the things we had realized early on, and we all know this, is that even today, most of what is taught in the colleges is not something that the industry can accept right from day one. So we knew that even though we are hiring people for programming roles and other computing roles, they would not have that skill. So what was left for us is to evaluate them on their analytical skills, logical skills, and things like that. And one of the things which I personally used to look for was what kind of analytical skills they had with basic mathematics, basic numeracy. And what I realized is that most of these students, when you ask them for, let's say, a math formula, right, even something, complex calculus or whatever, they will just tell you the formula right there. But the moment you ask them something very, very basic, very, very simple, what we would normally call as common sense mathematics, they start to falter. Something very simple. The example I give is, ratios, percentages, fractions, decimals, they're all one and the same thing. But if I ask that to an engineering student coming out of an IIT, about 80% of them would not realize that, or would not be able to explain how they're all the same thing, right? So then we try to kind of look back and say, why was this happening? Is this really an IIT problem? And of course it is not, because they're not supposed to learn that level of basic math at that at that college, right? They are supposed to learn it in school. So it's really a problem which starts much, much earlier, and it has to be attacked at that earlier stage. And then I also saw my own son moving to middle school around those years. And what I observed was that his enthusiasm for learning maths, especially, was starting to wane. Earlier, he would be very, very excited. The moment he came home, he would pick up his books and start doing his work. But once he got into middle school, I saw this change where he would start making excuses and come up with stories. I'm hungry, I'm tired, I need to play with my friends will go away, let me finish playing, then I will study. All these kind of things. Of course, we know that as the kids grow, their growth changes also happen. But also on the other side, what I started to observe is, especially with mathematics, one is that the number of topics became much, much wide in terms of number of chapters and number of concepts that were covered. As parents, we were also starting to see these topics becoming more complicated. So even involuntarily, I would make a comment, that this, even I don't understand, how will you get this? And I'm sure that that is something which would leave an impression on the child, right? So all these things started adding up, and I realized that this maths phobia, so to speak, is starting to develop. Fortunately, it's not reached that stage for him, but I've seen that in many children, that is happening. So that is when my co-founder and I, we started talking about this idea that we need to be able to do something to help these children. And our first thought was that, can we create some kind of an assessment which tells you why these children are having this kind of phobia, or why are they faltering, why are they having hurdles with solving maths problems, especially once they start getting to middle school. So we try to create an assessment, and as part of that, we try to analyze what is this problem-solving structure which the children would use. And what we realize is that typically what the child really has to do when he solves the maths problem, and especially once they get to middle school and above, is that first they need to understand the problem, which means that language plays a very important role in mathematics. And that is something which is very often ignored in the maths class, right? So language is a barrier. Language is also something which needs to be very well imbibed when you try to solve math problems. You need to be able to kind of translate an English language statement into its math context. So the children were not prepared for that. They were not prepared to think like that, right? The second thing we realized is that they need to be able to do something called modeling, or kind of create a strategy to solve a maths problem. So before they jump into solving the problem, they have to arrive at a strategy. Now, what would really happen is that when they are taught, let's say, triangles in the class, and they have a set of exercises at the end of the chapter, they know that it is from the triangles chapter. So they don't really think strategy. They straight away jump into it and try to solve the problem. And it is always linked with what is taught today. So they kind of know that this is the concept. So let's just use that same idea and solve the problem. But when it comes to their examinations, then you mix multiple concepts, you don't tell them which chapter this is from, and that is where the confusion starts to develop. And the moment they hit the first term exam, they start realizing this phobia and anxiety around the subject. So that's what we observed. So then we said, okay, so can we create some kind of an assessment which will tell us that these are the areas where the children are lacking? Can we pinpoint that? And we, being from an IT background, obviously, creating a software was the first thought which would come to our minds, and we did that. Then we went to a few schools and we requested them to allow us to do some pilots with their students. So about 1,500 students took a pilot assessment. This was almost 4 years back, way before COVID as well. And we found that whatever we had hypothesized turned out to be right, that language was a big barrier. Language comprehension was a big barrier. Modeling was a skill which the children did not develop, did not have. And calculation and numerical ability they had when they were able to realize what they have to do. So we went to the principals and we gave them all these reports and data and all that. And they said, all this is fine. Everybody sits and tells us that this is the problem, this is the problem. We need a solution for this. And that is where the idea for Counting Well was born. We said that, we don't have to stop just with identifying the problem. We need to be able to bring the solution, not just for children, but also it was very obvious that even the school administration was looking for such solutions, and we had to create something which would also very closely tie in with how the schools are or how the classrooms are being run. So that's how Countingville was created as a blended solution or a blended learning solution.
Wonderful, sir. One more thing, sir. Last point we'd like to know from you that the concept of the teachers was not clear, 8th and 6th class.
Yes.
What you told,
Yes. So what happened is that while we were doing these assessments, the principal said that, can you also ask our teachers to take the assessments? And we were also very curious because, given our background, we didn't realize what was the motive of, the teachers being asked to take these assessments. For us, it was like, let's just try to see how the teachers fare. And we did that. And what we found is, first thing we found is that in the areas where the children were lacking, even the teachers were showing the gaps. And that's when we realized that this is something which flows from the teacher to the children as well. The second thing, which was the most shocking, was that one of the teachers called me and she said that this problem that you have given is a 6th grade problem, and I am an 8th grade teacher, so I cannot solve this problem. This is not something which I normally teach. So we realized that, the teachers are also so boxed in with what they are supposed to teach, with the chapters that they are supposed to teach, so to speak, the curriculum that they have to finish in that year, that they don't even look beyond. So if they are not even looking 2 years back on mathematics itself, where is the question of focusing on language comprehension and, modeling skills and all these kind of areas, right? So that's when, you can say that hamara wo drid nishchay ban gaya ki we have to create something which is also going to be a part of the school teaching learning process, and it cannot be standalone just for children.
That's very good. Good, sir. We'll talk more about very interesting things you have told about. And it's very amazing that the 8th class teacher is saying this is a question of problem of grade 6. We're not teaching in that class, so we won't be able to do. Higher classes you are asking, it is already understood. But it's very amazing because the concepts of themselves are not clear. The basics or roots are not clear for sure. Thank you so much, sir. And we'll like to know further details also that what are these things. But the best thing about your app is, let me tell you all that this is free of cost for all the schools, especially. Why? Because after pandemic, the managements and the schools, they don't want to spend more money. So thanks to Nirmal sir that you have brought up this type of things. And we like to know, even if it is free, also we like to know what other qualities are there which are actually going to help the students and the teachers. Thank you so much, Nirmal sir, and welcome. We'll come up to the next round. I won't call it ad question round. I'll call it as a suggestion round. I'll come up to Jawaid sir first. Jawaid sir, we will like to know your views on the saying that when children reach middle school, they start having fear or phobia of mathematics. What are the reasons behind it according to your experience?
Yes. I was jotting down few points as our expert was mentioning, and few I had already jotted down. So allow me to go through them and put it forward before you.
Sure,
now, as children reach middle school, they develop fear of maths. Simply, as I understand, their basics of junior school are not clear. So when they sit down with it, they either feel sleepy as they open the books, or they try to find lots of excuses, as was being mentioned by our expert also. So the basics needs to be more clear. They just give up saying that they can't do it. Unfortunately, much maths avoidance leads to competency exposure as maths practice, leaving students more anxious and mathematically unprepared to deal with the subject. Sometimes the fear is developed by the parents and teachers both. My reading of their subject mathematics. When parents with high maths anxiety try to help their children with their homework, they unintentionally convey the idea that maths is very difficult. You will have to pay more attention, else you will not be able to do it. I think it should not be put to the children like this. Students often develop maths fear in schools as a result of learning from teachers who are themselves suffering from maths fear. Something very related to what our expert has just said. The teachers themselves have fear of mathematics. Such teachers usually fall back to teaching exclusively from the textbooks, relying on memorizing facts and employing only drill and practices to reinforce the lessons. That is not done. The pressure of examination and tests and risk of public embarrassment are the main sources of unproductive tension among many students. I was also trying to write down a few more things. Math is typically taught as right or wrong. Teachers expect a fixed answer from the student, and sometimes this rigidity is so high that students get no freedom to express in their own way. This leads to rote method of learning. This again is a very thoughtful point, as it is well known that there is a triangle: parent, teacher, student for the success of education. The role of each one is very important to eradicate the fear of mathematics from students. A very important factor in motivating children to study maths is that the teachers stay positive and enthusiastic about maths. Otherwise, they will not be able to teach mathematics. The teacher should not put down the wrong answer while teaching on the board, because that leads to children thinking as to why is it so, if it is wrong or it is right. Tests are very important, but then that's not the last goal. The true goal of mathematics should be to prepare students to face real life problems with maths as a weapon. It should be shown to the children that maths is creative, interesting subject. Learning maths is almost like learning music. You can put it like this: maths and music, both starting from M, and both have 5 letters. Maths and music. It's learning maths is like learning. Students are more motivated once they realize where all maths is required. For example, basic maths is required when we go shopping, in cooking, decimals in financial transactions, and measuring skills in swing, in woodwork, or very needful in everyday lifestyles that we do. So the teaching of mathematics must be accompanied by everyday life experience. Children will love it and will learn it ever faster. Many children feel stressed at the thought of taking a maths test, and it is entirely normal to feel like anxious about it. Having mathematics fear, however, is a much bigger problem, where it is not diagnosed, it's not a diagnosed condition. Much fear can make children and even adults stressed when faced with a maths task at home or in school or as homework. Children who suffer from it feel anxious when they attend maths classes or they have to do their homework, and they avoid doing it because they just don't know how to do. It is estimated that many children in schools experience maths fear and they stop coming to school. It has also been observed that generally children leave their studies in middle school, and especially even if they continue, they carry on with no interest in mathematics. So teaching of mathematics, I feel, should be in a very, very interesting way and related to day-to-day life. That's
Absolutely
all.
right,
Thank you.
sir. That's absolutely right, sir. You have given the gist of everything about mathematics. The first thing wonderful you talked about is the pressure from the society, that means from the teachers, from the parents. Now maths is going to be a very big thing for you. Okay, everybody is saying again and again, it might be something might be there. Making the normal things into abnormal thing, where, the psychology of the child also changes, that maths is going to a big thing for me. Although this is not like that. But because when people talk to me or children talk to me, so I do tell them this is the easiest thing, because there are certain concepts. The only thing is that why you're doing this. This has to be done, but why this has to be done is clear to you, then it will be, from any book in the world, if you're given the question of that particular chapter or topic, you will be able to do. But when you're going for your history, civics, geography, or sciences, there is always a different answer for a different question. So what is more easy? So you have to make it very interesting. Teacher also, when they enter the class, they make, they make the class as a teacher-oriented class. So that is also very important, as sir you said, that it should be a child-oriented class where the participation of the student should be there, as well as the teacher should make it as interesting as possible. Thank you so much, Javed sir. Now we'll come up to Arundhati ma'am. Ma'am, we would like to know that, in your opinion, why do middle school students lose interest in mathematics?
Thank you for asking me the question. And I will take the clue from Mr. Nirmal. He was talking about the language being a barrier. And I will say language can be a barrier as well as a bridge. And math has its own language. If the teacher is able to narrate the language of math properly, there should be no fear. Now, coming to this, human brain, in my opinion, is wired to hear a story. Whenever there is a storytelling, each child gets interested. Now, story can be told in a number of ways. The teacher who is able to, put together all the facts in a story format, that will be a successful teacher. Now, what happens is, generally you will see in a math class, the teacher is very straightforward and with a very straight expression on the face. There is no humor. And that also makes the classes very monotonous. So this is as regards the language. The other point that comes to my mind is that till grade 5, children, they actually web around the numbers. Now, numbers, when I say 2 cows or I say 5 pencils or 6 elephants, so it is something which is very known, something that they can imagine, something that they can relate to. But suddenly, when you come in the middle school, there is geometry and there is algebra. You are supposed to assume things, let X be the age of your father. This assumption was never there in the primary wing. Another thing is known to unknown. Till grade 5, you only dealt with something that was known to you. Now you're dealing with something that is unknown to you. What is this X? They don't know. Why are they saying, let us assume the age to be X? So this assumption and this unknown factor brings abstractness in maths. And that is why children, they get bogged down. What is happening? Till grade 5, it was very easy. I did the mensuration, I did the profit and loss. All that was easy. So it is only because of the abstractness. It is only because of unknown things that has come. So anything that is unknown, even we are very fearful of black holes. Why? Because we don't know what is inside. So if the teacher can narrate the story in such a way that unknown becomes exciting, unknown will remain unknown, but you have to make it very exciting. So that storytelling format, if the teacher is able to build and create curiosity for unknown, create curiosity for abstractness, then I think teaching and learning of math will be a great journey.
So ma'am, but in one sentence, we can say that playway method is not confined to pre-primary only. Playway method should be from PG to grade 12.
Absolutely.
If
Absolutely.
this concept is taken, every subject will become the favorite subject of the child, including
Certainly.
mathematics also.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay.
We'll come
Yes.
up to Amarnath sir. Amarnath sir, we'll also like to have your intakes, your views on the saying that middle school students lose interest in mathematics during their middle school.
Thanks again, Chandhok sir. Now, first of all, I have been an art student all my life, no maths. But like Mr. Shah said, maths is a part of life. Maths and everyone says, we know maths is part of life. It's there. We cannot avoid it. Presently, my daughter is in class 9, so I can see her what I felt like when I was, just shifting from junior middle school. Now, my opinion, like Bosu said, a student who's been taught basic concepts in junior school, seldom they use some innovative methods. Seldom. Nowadays, different story early on. And when a child enters the middle age, he or she expects there is some kind of new thing happening in math, some kind of like ma'am said, not some kind of innovation. And when a child enters a class expecting something new in maths, he or she what happened? Faces the same thing. The LA having the only one door, there is nothing else there. So that child, gets bogged down, is hardened, might lose interest in the subject, which is, part of everyday life. Even now, we are here talking to all of you so far away from Dehradun. Maths is involved there, basic is there. And also, what happens many times there is undue pressure to best in maths. For example, our society, the social status in our country still consider that a person who's good in maths or does good in science is a good student. Finish. I'm sorry, it still happens even now in today's world. So that also gives a child, kind of a confusion. If I'm weak in maths, my neighbors, what will say, my father, my teachers. So there's a lot of Islam, kind of a self, suffering. That also is there. Then the friends of these students, for example, others keep telling them that maths is difficult. Finish. One word, maths is difficult. And this is a word that will traumatize them. They will just like it. Maths is difficult. Hands up. Finish. And like ma'am said also, teachers, it does matter. The teacher who's imparting the knowledge in maths, very important. Even today, the school of which I'm a principal, students even look upon the math teacher as a Hitler. Even when I was small kid, I can maths is a Hitler, like ma'am said. No expression, nothing. Simple. So this also, the child look at the math teacher, no expression, like a ma'am said. There's no, kind of a fun activity to get student involved. Those students there and already stands up because that child has heard about maths. And already before they enter class 9, they heard about the math teacher. Okay. So what happened? They get so tense up that many times they have difficulties, doubts, which they never clear up in that class. And that later on troubles them in the higher classes. So this is my point of view because I've been through it and I can see my student going through it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. You are absolutely right. The society says that without maths, but somewhere it is right also because mathematics is always there in every part of life. Even if someone is lady or someone is cooking also, they also need mathematics. So life is always, directly or indirectly connected to mathematics. The only thing is how the teacher is teaching. First teaching, then knowing that you have learned something. This is the method that should be adopted. Thank you, Amarnath sir, for your valuable views. We will come up to Neelam ma'am. Neelam ma'am, we like to know or what to have some suggestions or a few ways in which a teacher should make maths more interesting and easy.
Thank you for asking me this question, Chandhok sir. Actually, as we have discussed till that we all need maths. And students, they have maths phobia because of the peer pressure from their parents, from the society. What I think we are having this grade level criteria. Because of that, students are having more fear of mathematics. Now, let us consider a simple example. As you have asked about the various ways a teacher should adopt, as Arundhati ma'am rightly said, let us use language. Let's make maths as a human language. What is a human language? Let us teach the children mathematics using day-to-day examples. Now, suppose for a grade 1 or grade 2 child, you are teaching addition. So 1 apple and 2 apples. He knows that it will be 3 apples, isn't it? So definitely he'll say 3 apples. If you tell him, okay, 1 book and 3 books. Now he knows counting, so he will write 4 books. Now, can you imagine if you ask that first grade child, what will be 5 lakhs for 2 lakhs? But if he is taught in that way, by taking human language, that apple and apple gives you apples and the number counting 1, 2, 3. So if you ask him 5 lakhs plus 2 lakhs, he doesn't know how many zeros are there in a lakhs, but he'll tell you 7 lakhs. Isn't it? If you ask him what is, let us take an example of fraction. If I ask that first grader 1/3 plus 1/3. For us, in our mind, we are having the numerator and denominator. 1/3 plus 1/3. But for that child, it is 1/3, THIRD, third, plus 1/3. So what answer he'll give you? He'll give you 2/3. Even though he doesn't know mathematics, but he'll give you the correct answer. So these are the various ways the middle school teacher should also adopt. And let the students do mistakes. Because when we do mistakes, our brain grows. That is what survey has also said. When we do mistake, when we say that, okay, I can do it, and we are not able to do it, again we'll do it. We are not getting success for the second time, we do it for the third time. But for the first time only, if the teacher is saying, no, you can't do it. It is beyond your limit. You don't have potential to do it. The child will never do it. And if a 5th grader gets this type of message from the teacher, for 5th standard, that doesn't matter at all. One concept he has not learned. But that concept he'll not understand throughout his life, as Sir and Ma'am has said. It will be like that. The void, the gap will be there for his higher grades also. So the teacher should think out of the box and use language, the narrative method, fun method to teach.
Right. Right.
Thank you so much.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Manita, ma'am. Ma'am, we will also like to know your views or some suggestions. How can the teachers can make mathematics more interesting?
First of all, that realistic approach, already everyone discussed about the point. When the mathematics teacher should have that realistic approach inside the classroom. Mathematics, I think that should be related with the day-to-day life, as Jawaid Alam Khan sir also mentioned the point. Mr. Shah also mentioned the point. It should be very realistic. Like we have a mindset. Since if I talk about myself, I'm also a victim of math phobia. And my parents used to say, I remember my father used to say, just give 1 hour to the mathematics and give the other, 1 hour to the other subjects. What does it mean? Like, it's a difficult subject. The difficult subject that is here, and we are passing this concept to our next generation. Basically, we used to tell the children also, students also, like teachers, it's very difficult, it's hard. Go for mathematics for 1 hour, practice mathematics for 2 hours. That mindset we have, mathematics is a hard subject. It's a very tough subject. That tough subject, the tough word should be removed. It should be related to the day-to-day life in a very realistic way. In that way, teacher can develop love for the mathematics in the children. What I think.
Absolutely right, ma'am. And taking up the formulas you're talking about, if you take an example like a greengrocer coming in your lane and you are asking for different vegetables of different quantities. So within fraction of second, he's illiterate. Within fraction of second, he'll tell you how much money you have to pay. And if you'll make that into a word problem and you'll give it to a student, he'll start using formulas first. And he may or may not be able to solve. I only remember one formula, a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. But why I'm using this formula, this has to be cleared. Otherwise, that he will always be using that formula. And when he's practicing and doing it, again, his answer is coming wrong. Or he's saying, have practice. Like Nebel sir said in the beginning that, I'm knowing that these questions are from this chapter. So I have to do this. But when the number of topics come all together mixed up in the question paper, he's not able to realize that what he's asking, from which concept or which topic or which chapter this question is. So why? Because the basics or logics have not been cleared, which Nirmal sir will tell us, because his counting well is like a genie or like a Santa Claus to us, who will help us that how these things can help the children, as well as we had been talking about, Nirmal sir, we had been talking about, the stress the math teacher have. So many exercises are over there. Again, everybody was talking about the parents. So I was realizing those parents, they had that phobia at their time. That phobia is coming out that beta maths is going to be a very big thing for you.
Yes.
क्योंकि हम नहीं झेल पाए थे तो तुमको भी बेटा झेलना मुश्किल हो जाएगा. You have to work a lot on it. It's going to be very difficult. Maths. So that is also reason. So sir, as a savior, Nirmal sir, how are you helping, or how counting well is helping to reduce the stress? Again, somebody was saying also, I'm sorry, I'm taking this time, that it is in the mind of the child. The child does not ask question in the class. Why? The teacher always said, the method I have told you, and that method you have to do. You cannot apply your method. Second thing, you're so stupid, you're not able to understand this thing. Again, the children can make fun of them. Ki tumko itna bhi nahi aati, you don't know this, you're asking how. So the children have that also in their mind, that I don't have to ask the question in the class, otherwise others will make fun of me. So how these type of the stresses among the students and with the teachers, how are you removing that? Nirmal sir.
Sure, sir. So, of all the points that everybody here made, I picked a few common threads, right? So one of the things, like you said, it came down to this, that the children don't ask the doubts because they feel that they might be ridiculed by their peers or even by the teacher, right? Also, as a consequence of that, the other thing which happens is that their confidence in being able to solve the problem goes down. So what we really need to do is that, we need to become a kind of confidence booster to them, right? So while the teacher is teaching the topic in the class, and that's really her job, the way we see is that the counting well's role then comes in boosting the confidence of the child, that they can actually solve problems and that they can be self-learners as well. And how we do that? So one of the things, for example, we do is that we do a kind of diagnostic assessment on the child, and for every chapter, every concept that they learn. And as part of that assessment, we identify two things. One is that, is there any specific skill gap which they have? Are they lacking in the comprehension ability or in the ability to model a solution and so on? Second is the conceptual gap. Now, the conceptual gap need not be only with the concepts which are being taught in that chapter in that year. It could be with something which I have not learned well in the previous years as well. And I think Amarnath sir brought this up as well, that, if you have not learned something well earlier, that kind of becomes a bigger thing in the following years. So we need to identify if there is a gap on what they have learned in the previous year. So when we do that, now what we are able to do is that when we do this kind of a diagnostic assessment, we are able to identify if this gap existed because of something they did not learn earlier. And then we create a personalized learning plan, so to speak, for the child, where we start teaching the child about the concepts which they should have learned earlier, or we start focusing on the specific skills, like is it comprehension or is it modeling and so on. So what we do is that instead of saying that I'm going to put every child at the same level and expect every child to solve the same problems in the same way, we go down to the level of the child, right? Instead of saying that you come up to my level, I say that I will come to your level and then we will come up together. That boosts the confidence of the child. The child, when you go to the level where the child is just about to solve the problems, is able to solve the problems, and they see themselves being able to solve and being able to understand, they start becoming confident that, yes, I can do it. So that also kind of in some way counters these ideas that, parents say that tumse nahi ho paega, teachers are saying tumse nahi ho paega, friends are saying tumse nahi ho paega, to koi to bole ki bhai tumse ho paega. Somebody has to go and say that to the child as well. The way to say that is, one, of course, you keep saying, but if you are able to show the child that, yes, you can do it. And how you do that is by coming down to the level of the child, where that child is, whatever skills they lack.
Sir, it will work. I'll interrupt. Sorry. So this will work with the students, especially with this year. Why? Because the last 2 years of pandemic year, Google did their question papers in all the subjects, especially the mathematics. And when a child is in grade 9, he is not having the concept of 7th and 8th, or he's in grade 8 right now, not having the concept of 6 and 7. So this strategy is working with him. that he is not able to solve something of grade 8. So your, app will take that to grade 7 level questions.
Absolutely, sir. In fact, I'm having some very interesting scenarios. So one of the people that I met on this show, in fact, I was speaking to him, and he was saying that, he's starting to see a lot of children who are having this kind of learning gaps, and he's struggling to find a way to help them overcome these kind of learning gaps. So what I suggested to him is that instead of saying that, we are going to implement this whole counting well, bada solution hai, ye karo, wo karo, why don't we just create a very simple kind of a competition for the children? When you do that, when you create a competition, then the children kind of feel enthusiastic. They don't feel that this is a stressful thing. There is an examination and things like that, right? So we said, let's create something like that, where what we will do is that we will say that you have to do learning in order to participate in the final test of the competition. And then, we'll give away prizes and so on and so forth. Now, what happened as part of that is that, we did a kind of diagnostic assessment. We said this is a warm-up test, and this is a diagnostic assessment which helped us identify what the gaps are. Now, based on that, we created the specific learning path for every child. And when they finished that, only then they were allowed to participate in the final test. Now, when they went through this whole process, what really happened is that they were thinking that we are participating in a competition and, we are preparing for the competition. But what we really did was that we actually aligned it with the curriculum, and we were actually able to make them, kind of overcome these learning gaps. We identified the gaps and we filled them by making them learn through this process. So, this was one of the ways. There are different people who are employing different ways. Somebody is using it in the form of homework and saying that we will give it every week to the children. But the whole idea is that if we are able to get down to the level of the child, right, we identify these gaps and say that we will get down to that level and then start working with the child to help them come up, then we are able to build that confidence and we are able to make them self-learners. Now, the other point also which came up is, of course, that we have to always link it with day-to-day life, right, or make it more realistic. And I think that is something which we have consciously done right from the starting when we created the content, that it is linked with day-to-day. So we have very small videos which shows why you need to learn this concept and how it relates to day-to-day. But one of the other things we did as part of that is also that we made the whole learning process participative for the child. So instead of saying that, here is a video and we show triangles and we say this is one angle, this is another angle, and so on and so forth, we said, why can't we make it interactive? Why can't we ask the child a question, make the child think, and let the child respond? And when they respond, we will make the child think about something else. Let the child feel that they are actually participating in the learning and they are discovering these concepts, rather than simply saying that we are giving you all this information, then we are no different from a textbook, right? We are, everything is there in the textbook. So how are we different from it? So what we do is, for example, we show them a samosa and say that, what shape does this remind you of? That's the very first step. And, then we say triangle, rectangle, aap batao, what do you understand? And if they say triangle, then we start asking them, is it open on any of the sides, right? Or is it closed on all the sides? Because when we say triangle, it's not just a three-sided figure, it's a closed three-sided figure. Then, you kind of dive into the concept of an equilateral triangle and so on. So you bring, so in a way, you kind of, weave that story around as well for the child, right? You ask questions, let them answer, let them feel that they are interacting in that whole learning process, rather than saying that it is just being broadcast to them and they are just expected to absorb it, which after 2 hours, if you ask them what they learned, they probably only remember half of that. So that's the whole idea. So, one, make it participative for them, to come down to their level. That's when we can build the confidence, we can make them self-learners, and we can also make them feel that they are actually discovering all these ideas which are actually there in the textbook already.
That is wonderful thing, sir. But I will like to add one more thing with this. There are children who are not able to ask answer or don't ask answer or questions in the class. They are able to communicate with the mobile. When they are with this app at their 24/7, their comfort. So it's not even one-to-one. Only one person is asking to a machine, and the machine cannot get tired. When you are asking again to a teacher, so he'll say, sorry, you're so stupid, you're not able to understand this concept. but machine, if you ask him 1,000 times, the machine will tell you. So at his comfort, because concentration is needed when you want to work something. At his comfort, when he will study only with the mobile, with the app. So he will clear his concept, because the computer is never going to say that you're so stupid, you're taking so much time to clear up your doubts. That is the most important thing, 24/7 availability of this technology. Thank you so much, Nirmal sir. We'll come up to the next round and ask further from you what good things are there. It would have been in our times, so we would have been the mathematician as of now. Thank you so much. We'll come up to the next round because we have shorter time request to give your answers in precise. We'll come up to Dr. Javed. Sir, we will like to know your views on the saying that how does technology helps in making maths more interesting and easy? Sir, you're on mute, sir. Sir, you're on mute. Sir, you are on mute, Javed, sir. Technology, okay. Sir. It is again technology, sir. We miss it out because we are technology migrant. Even sometimes I also miss out to, switch on my mic. Sir, over to you.
All right, sir. Technology has played a very vital role in enhancing the interest for mathematics, I would say, and even for other subjects. As you are also saying that technology never gets tired, will never say that you are stupid, but it will keep giving you answers of all kinds. So enhancing the interest of maths and making it interesting as well. I call it a parallel teacher when the technology is introduced. At junior school level, there are so many modules available by which children can make the learning, memorizing of tables, techniques, and formulas. Once the child basic concepts are clear, he or she can take a lot of interest in mathematics. His actually mindset is ready to take up even the difficult questions. With the help of today's technologies, children are finding it interesting. This is the impact of technology. Children should be reminded that math skills aren't learned automatically. And that everybody has a different rate to learn mathematics. While you may not allow visual distractions such as TV and internet, your child may prefer to study in his own style, sitting down on the floor with the cushions around or sitting on a desk. So children should be allowed to, do things their way. Games like Maths Breakers are taking a different approach to learning. By integrating fundamental maths concepts into immersive worlds, students can explore maths concepts, play fun games at the same time. This is what video games do. They start from easier to difficult gradually. One of the biggest problem in teaching maths is number of abstract concepts. It can be hard for the students to visualize them and to make them relevant. If teachers use videos to illustrate fundamental maths concepts applied to everyday life, they can make lessons more interesting, is what I feel. Infusing humor into tedious classworks can have a positive effect on students' engagement. YouTube has so many channels dedicated to maths-based humor. The ever-increasing accessibility of the internet provides students with the options for learning outside the classroom. There is a plethora of maths websites that offer assistance instructions for a variety of maths concepts that students can access them on their own at their own convenience. Virtual manipulative harness the capabilities of the web to put these instruments at every student's fingertips. And because these digital tools circumvent the physical limitations of their concrete counterparts, they can be used for analysis of more complex concepts, that is more blocks, more options for explorations. The technology has made some profound impacts on how teachers teach the subject of mathematics and how students engage in learning. I have an experience. Initially, maths teachers were not very comfortable with teaching mathematics through technology. But when they found the results, they really felt that yes, technology can help making maths, and children and teachers both were very happy about it. Technology enables teachers to make use of learning aids that are designed to exploit the children's visualization and modeling power to solve problems. Software applications such as computer aided design assist teachers to come up with the most simplified and interesting ways of teaching hard topics in mathematics. For example, some powerful 3D applications make it possible to manipulate solid geometrical figures such as cones and cubes, therefore fostering understanding by the students. Teaching mathematics with technology gives the teacher more tools with more to offer instructions to the students. A critical role of the teacher is to explain different concepts to the students, but ensure that they understand the material being presented. Thank you so much.
Absolutely right, Jawaid sir. You're absolutely right. The concept has to be cleared, properly, but to the students, a different method should be taken. That technology should work as a tool with the teacher. It should help the teachers, because we have been knowing that these type of technologies, they help the teachers to make up assignments, to check them, and they are able to know that where the children are lacking. That is the most important thing, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come to Arundhati ma'am. Arundhati ma'am, we would like to know your views on the saying that it is often seen that children take mathematics the same as the other subjects are. That means instead of understanding, they start learning it. So what are your views on this?
I would like to add on to what my other colleagues have already said. One thing is that real life is missing. Now, when we are, unfortunately, all the books that we have to teach mathematics, they are in the two-dimensional format, whereas the real math is in the three-dimensional format. So real life examples, when they are found missing, children, they just start losing interest and lot of work gets piled up. Now, when the volume of the work is too much for them to do, what they do is they start leaving it. When they leave it, they find it difficult. When they find it difficult, they leave it all the more. So it again becomes a vicious cycle. And what the parents and the teachers had been telling, if maths is very difficult, it really appears to be a monster. Now, when it is a monster, there are only two things that we can do. Either we fight with it or we flight. Most of the children, they run away, they turn away from maths out of fear, but they are not told that they can fight with it. Even if they do 10 sums or 20 sums regularly per day, they will be able to remove the fear of math. Now, when they have not done anything and there is too much work piled up, so just before the exam, what they do is they read the solved examples and they rely on that to do the exam paper. Now, that is what is very, very difficult for them to score good marks. They will have to write, they'll have to practice. And what I have done in my school is I will not wait for 3, 4 months to do the half yearly exam. Every week they will be having a small test. So they do a small portion, they give a small test. And that's how they remain in practice. And the monster doesn't become a monster. Math becomes a living, you can say, um, person for them. And
They
they
enjoy
enjoy
with
it.
that.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Wonderful concept you've taken in as a test, a weekly test you have taken. We'll come up to Amarnath sir. Amarnath sir, we will like to know your views on the same thing, that children try to learn mathematics instead of understanding it.
Now let's come back to what Mr. Sukha said. because students have a habit of learning other subjects. Because for languages like Hindi, English, social studies, they learn and learn, and they get marks. Maths, they have a confusion. They should do the same thing again. They should learn only, and basically, this is a habit of students. They want to save time. They want to avoid practicing. Your maths is a practice. I remember my own school time. A teacher kept telling me, practice and learn, practice and learn. But even now, that habit, people, students don't have it. They just want to learn. Because basically, students want to get free from education. They want to get free and do something else. So because practicing takes time and they want to save time, practicality, you have being practical. Today's modern generation. So it's a habit actually. And actually, the students, very few understand that unlike other subjects, maths need to be deciphered, understood, and then practiced. The word is decipher, that the students do not understand. Because today I realize when I am educationist, the same thing I did not do it when I was a student. I never deciphered it, never. I said maths, I don't know, I will never know it deep. So the main thing is that simple logic is there. Input, I think Sasa, you will know better, computers. Input, process, and then only output. That has to be there. Without getting the things in your brain, we then only can process it, and then we can do output. So Mr. Nirmal will know better that IT is the same process, and every brain of ours is the same process. And actually, maths required a lot of concentration. In fact, I'll call it solid concentration, nothing else. And there's no shortcut. There is no shortcut. Maths needs to be respected. I have realized today. It has to be respected and also has to be appreciated. Because like all of us today, we understand it's a part of our life, daily life. So we need to appreciate it. That's all from my side. Thank you.
I think there is some network problem with sir. No problem, sir. We had your answer, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable views. Now we'll come up to Neelam ma'am. Neelam ma'am, we would like to know your views on the saying, because after pandemic, we have seen that the blending learning culture has come into being. So according to you, has blended learning helped children to grow in a better way? Neelam ma'am.
Yes. Now for this, I'll take what Nirmal sir had just said, that parents are saying tumse na ho paega, friends are saying tumse na ho paega, but I think blended learning is saying tumse zarur ho paega. Isn't it? Because blending learning helps the child to have that conceptual understanding of the concept. Now, if we consider about, let us say, variable and functions, when a teacher teaches for higher grades variable and function, the student is not able to visualize what is the relationship. But through these blended learning, various videos and modules, a student is able to understand the relation between a variable and a function through various graphical representation, so that he understands the concepts more clearly. If suppose he is not understanding, he can pause that thing over there. Okay, then at his pace, again he can come back, again he can view, and he can judge his own progress. So what I think that blended learning has definitely helped children in mathematics.
You're absolutely right, ma'am.
Yes, because they can.
Why? Because what I think you want to say is that due to technology, the world has become a very small place. You don't have to go and show the things to the students. Correct. Everything is there on the devices that can be shown to the students.
Yes.
And taking that as a practical approach, everything can be taught and made easy for the students.
Yes.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Manita, ma'am. We'll also like to know your views in precise, because we are in shortage of time, that blending learning has helped the children in a better way.
Yeah, sir. I'm 100% agree with this, whatever question you are asking. Like blended learning taught our children to grow in a very unique way. Why the first point I would like to share with you, that is the blended learning provide that platform where they are getting that exposure to the knowledge. And our children also, they are so confident enough, that they can distinguish between the knowledge and the right knowledge. I believe that there's a difference between the knowledge and right knowledge in this platform. In the digital platform, if we talk about the e-learning platform, the children have the exposure of knowledge, not many knowledge, but there's a difference between the right knowledge and knowledge. So now the children are confident enough to distinguish between the right knowledge and knowledge. And as far the math is concerned, whatever topic is going on here, I would like to share one more point here. Like in what strategy I am, implementing in my school, that is the integration. My teachers, I'm giving training to my teachers, especially the math teachers as well as the SST and science teachers, how to integrate math and science with the different subjects. Like math with art, they integrate mathematics with art. Through art, they can teach mathematics. Sometimes, for example, the topic area, when my teachers are teaching the topic area, they used to take the children to the lab or library area or to the ground to measure to do the things practically in a realistic way. So I think this integration of learning with different subjects with math, that is very, very important, as well as blended learning, like many videos are available how to integrate maths with the different subjects. In that way also, like this blended learning is providing a beautiful, wonderful teaching environment to the children as well as to us also. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You're absolutely right. We'll ask these questions to Nirmal sir. Nirmal sir, first your views as an expert on the second round, what the guests have said. And also one more thing we like to know from you, that parents से बड़ी मुश्किल से तो मोबाइल से छुटकारा दिलवाया है, आप फिर से पकड़ाने के लिए कह रहे हो. So what about that also, along with your expert advice, sir? What others have said?
So I will start with that, right? कि parents बोल रहे हैं कि छुटकारा दिलवाया मोबाइल से, आप वापस क्यों कर रहे हो? And one, of course, what everybody said here as well, that blended learning can be very powerful and can be used in the right way. And what we are doing is, one of the things that we did was, we also realized very consciously that we don't want to extend the screen time of the children, because parents have seen in the last 2 years that the children have been on the screen for ever and ever and ever. Now they are snatching the screens back with a vengeance, right? They are saying phone wapas karo, computer wapas karo, iPads wapas karo, whatever. They just don't want the kids to carry any of these things. So what we have done is that the way we have structured our content is that we have broken down all the content into its learning outcomes. So every class, we have almost 300 learning outcomes per class. So which means that on an average in every chapter, we would have something in the range of about 15 to 20 learning outcomes. Now, what happens by doing that is that we map the learning content for each learning outcome separately. We call this as micro learning content. And then in order to complete that learning content for one single learning outcome, it takes about 5 to 7 minutes. Now, by breaking it down into such small pieces, what we're able to do is that we say that you just learn or achieve 3 to 4 learning outcomes in one day. You will only spend somewhere around 20 minutes per day. And that is enough. We don't want you to learn everything in one go. Just achieve these 3-4 learning outcomes every day. And incrementally, you will be able to complete your chapters. You will be able to complete your syllabus. And you will also be able to keep your screen time to a minimum. So that's the way we have been able to kind of, help the children and the parents feel comfortable about the whole screen time usage and mobile usage as far as counting well is concerned, right? Now, the other side of it, what everybody mentioned, I think in terms of when we talk about blended learning, we have gone beyond just live videos and video lectures and using technology for taking attendance and fee collection and so on, right? Now we have gone way beyond that. What we have been able to do, for example, is that we are able to collect a very, very large amount of data. Now, data is a lot of power, right? Because when you have a lot of data about a child's learning and the child's learning process, you can make a lot of decisions about what kind of interventions have to be given, how and when they have to be given to the child. So what we have done is that, what I mentioned as diagnostic assessments and formative assessments, we have kind of wrapped it up in the form of a homework. So what we do is that we say that the schools can simply assign a homework to the child, just pick one or two concepts, not even the whole chapter, and let the child solve the problems as part of that homework. As they solve the problems, we start capturing the data, what they're getting right, what they're getting wrong, where they're making mistakes, which learning outcomes they're not achieving, which areas they have the skill gaps in. And all of this now becomes a report and becomes available to the teacher. So the teacher is able to identify where they have to give the remedial to the child. And also within the app, as they solve the problems, we start giving them the feedback on that. So we are able to tell them if they get it right, why they got it right. If they get it wrong, why they got it wrong, and then kind of cycle them back and say, let's try again. So that way we become that first step of remedial for the child right there. Instead of waiting for tomorrow and let the teacher see the report, that remedial is already available to the child. But the teacher is also now beginning to see how the child is performing over time. All this data is available. And then, we did something very interesting. So we also realized while doing all this that we cannot expect the teacher to, kind of log in, look at the report, make decisions, this, that. It's just too much work. Already they are overloaded. And why are we adding more burden to them, right? Technology is supposed to make life easier. So which is the technology that teachers are most comfortable with, most familiar with? We realized that is WhatsApp. So what we did was we integrated everything in WhatsApp. So now what we have done is that on a specific day or at specific frequency, the teachers get a WhatsApp message which says that your next homework is ready. Do you want to assign it to children? When they say assign homework, the homework gets assigned. A WhatsApp message goes to the children as well. So their parents know that something has been assigned to them, something has to be done. And that is why the child is asking for the mobile phone. When they finish the homework, another message goes to the teacher that so many children have completed. This is the completion rate. And we even include a report which goes to the teacher on WhatsApp. So now they are not logging in anywhere. They are not spending time trying to, print the reports, this, that. Everything is right there on their mobile phones as well. That's the real power of technology, right? And when we bring it like that, then, it just helps them in a very, very effective way. They are able to use technology as an enabler. They are able to use technology as a kind of tool which helps them reduce their workload and reduce their burden rather than increasing their workload. So that's the whole way of kind of bringing that blended learning into the classroom.
So that means, sir, the teacher burden is also reduced. If I've understood that, okay, they don't have to make the assignments. It will be made and it will be checked also. And at the very same time, where the teacher is saying that I'm not able to understand where the children are lacking. So here the report will go to the teacher itself that all the children, where are they lacking? Personally, what they're lacking, that 40 on 40, one single teacher will become 40 on 40.
Exactly.
They will have the role of 40 teachers with the 40 students.
Very true. When it comes to remedial, it will be, 40 teachers, 40 students, right? Every child gets their own specific remedial. But at the same time, the teacher is seeing that whole report and the teacher is seeing that over a period of time. So they are able to see the progress as well, right? So it's not just one time that today I gave the test, this is the report. But how is it happening in the future as they progress through more chapters and more concepts that are being taught? So because we are able to maintain this data forever, teachers also know forever, and as the children move from one class to other, if they really want and if they're really interested, they can even look at previous year's reports and say that this is where the child had the problem. So maybe I should give that child in this area.
Right. So that is helping the students as well as the teachers also. And gradually the students are able to do proper attention is given to the students. And the most important thing is the grudges of the teachers that goes down, because now they are able to concentrate towards remedial classes where they have to focus on to the teachers. That is the best thing I found out. Thank you so much, Nirmal sir. That was wonderful knowing about that. It's a wonderful thing. And the courage you have taken to come up with mathematics, which, most of the people, tumse nahi ho payega, that तुमसे हो पाएगा concept converting into. And I feel it's a very, very, very prominent topic which should be taken into the whole country for sure. Thank you so much. Coming up to the last part of the session, which is a little surprise for the people who have come for the first time, that we have a last 5 to 10 minutes me time. Me time means where we have a get together with each other. Before parting, you have to sing 2 lines. It may be filmy, it may be patriotic, it may be religious, it may be regional, anything. 2 lines have to be sung by all the participants. See, we are all genies, the principals. We are a role model for everyone. And everybody comes over here and says that we are not a good singer and we are a bathroom singers only. But we are getting very good singer from this show, from the last 40, 50 episodes. And we are talking of having words with Indian Idol to start up a season for the educationist only, specifically for the educationist only, where many of the principals and managements are going to be in the finale or somewhere in the quarterfinals. So coming up, Vishwas sir, being a gentleman, sir, your picture is much more clear now. So, sir, we will like to know, I would like to listen actually 2 lines from you. If it will be in Bengali, that will be much better. I think you're a Bengali. So it will be Bengali, so much
Born
better.
in Delhi, and I can hardly speak Bengali.
Okay.
Secondly, I'm never sang in my whole life. I can say a few lines. Okay, sir.
Sir, that will be out of syllabus, sir. If you will be saying few lines, that will be out of syllabus, sir. So the syllabus is that you have to do, sir. This is me time, sir. This is me time, sir. You might have sung something for your wife once, and your child is in 9th, means somewhere around in last 15 years, you might have sung something.
When I was about to get married, I played a song to her on the mobile.
that song, only 2 lines, sir. Only 2 lines.
I'll try it. I'll just take more than 2 minutes because I never sang. Frankly, it's for you, the respect you give me. So I'll just try it. Actually, sir, all of you must be knowing there's a very famous song in 1985 which was sung by USA. That is for the famine in Africa. We are the world, and that song.
Yeah, I remember. We are the world. We are the.
The words keeps coming to me. But the words are very clear and very crisp, and it's very, hits you. It goes like this. There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together. Can you hear me, sir?
Sir, it should be Nidham, sir. I remember this song, sir. All the singers of the world were here and they sung this song. I remember. It was a song which was sung by almost all the singers of the world. I remember, sir.
Steve Wonder and Michael Jackson was the main one. Michael Jackson was the main one, and Steve Wonder and Quincy Jones. So, sir, I'll try again, please. And with respect, please forgive me if I go out of tune. I've never done it. I'm doing first time. My wife will beat me up here. I never sang for her. Okay. I just tried it. Let's see. There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere soon make a change. We are part of the God's great big family. And truth, love is all we need. And this is what a student need. Love is what we need. I'll say 1 line in Hindi, that is, hum honge kamyab ek din. Thank you, sir. That was very, very tedious for me, very difficult for me, very difficult.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a wonderful song. I mean, not sung by you. Wonderful song. I remember that 1995 song because it was very famous at that time. The world was in crisis and they sung it for, for the prosperity of everyone they sung. Thank you so much, sir. But whenever you're coming into the next season or any next season an episode, you need to come rehearse with the songs for sure, sir. Right, sir. Thank you so much. We'll come up to Neelam ma'am. Neelam ma'am.
With your permission, I just want to quote some line to all the teachers and the principals over here. Then definitely I'll try to sing 2 lines.
Okay. Arundhati ma'am will give the break. Will do the honors. Arundhati ma'am.
I don't know whether I'll be in tune or not, but I'll try. May I sing ghazal?
Sure, ma'am. Anything, anything.
It's a ghazal by Mehndi Hasan. प्यार भरे दो शर्मीले नैन जिनसे मिला मेरे दिल को चैन कोई जाने ना क्यों शर्माए कैसे मुझे तड़पाए प्यार भरे. Thank you.
Wonderful, ma'am. That's great. We'll come up to Manmita ma'am.
I'm not a good singer, sir, but definitely I'll try to sing 2 lines. नाम गुम जाएगा चेहरा ये बदल जाएगा मेरी आज ही पहचान है करे याद रहे हो नाम गुम जाएगा चेहरा ये बदल जाएगा मेरी आज ही पहचान है कर याद रहे. Thank you, sir.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. Ma'am, you are going to the finals directly, ma'am. It is for sure, ma'am. You are giving complex to all of us, ma'am.
No, not like that, sir.
Wonderful voice you have, ma'am. Wonderful voice. Great. Neelam ma'am, we have to come back to you, ma'am. Jawaid sir, we are also waiting for you, Jawaid sir. Sir, after Neelam ma'am, we'll come up to you, sir, the showstopper, sir. Neelam ma'am.
Yes, sir. Just I want to quote few lines.
Sir, you are on mute. Yes, ma'am. Neelam ma'am.
Am I audible, sir, now?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible, Neelam ma'am.
Yes. सुंदर सुर सजाने को साज बनाता हूँ.
Ma'am, but this is out of syllabus, ma'am. This is not a song, ma'am.
No,
Ma'am, this is not allowed, ma'am.
I'm going to sing a song, sir.
Okay,
I'll come
okay,
to
okay.
this later.
Okay, sir. I'm so sorry.
Sir. Am I audible? Okay. Now,
yes, ma'am, you're audible.
परिंदे को बाज बनाता हूँ, चुपचाप सुनता हूँ शिकायतें सबकी, तब दुनिया रखता है हौसले कश्तियों के, मैं तो डूबती कश्तियों को जहाज बनाता हूँ.
वाह.
बनाए चाहे चांद पे कोई बुर्ज खलीफा, मैं तो कच्ची ईंटों से ताज बनाता हूँ क्योंकि मैं एक शिक्षक हूँ. I'll just come to the syllabus, Chandhok sir. Few lines.
Sure, ma'am.
थोड़ा है थोड़ी की जरूरत है जिंदगी फिर भी यहाँ खूबसूरत है. थोड़ा है ब्लेंडेड टीचिंग की जरूरत
है. Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Javed sir, as I told you, you're the showstopper, sir. So you have to, sir, you're on mute, sir.
Please allow me out of syllabus. Have mercy on me.
Sir, please, sir. Sir, you are an inspiration for us, sir. How can you go out of the syllabus, sir? जब बड़े ऐसे करेंगे छोटे कैसे करेंगे?
Just because I'm special, so out of syllabus. I'll say 2 lines. I don't remember in my life when I sang last. singing is not my cup of tea. So I'll say two
Sure.
3 lines which I think are very meaningful.
Sure,
लब
sir.
पे आती है दुआ बन के तमन्ना मेरी, जिंदगी शम्मा की सूरत हो खुदाया मेरी, दूर दुनिया का मेरे दम से अंधेरा हो जाए, हर जगह मेरे चमकने से उजाला हो जाए, जिंदगी हो मेरे परवाने की सूरत या रब, इल्म की शम्मा से मुझको मोहब्बत हो जाए या रब.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. That was out of syllabus, but that was very beautiful, sir. Very beautiful. When
Thank
it
you
came
so
in
much
from
for accepting it, sir.
my pleasure, sir. Nirmal sir, your turn, sir. Where can you escape, sir?
I was thinking maybe you will forget me. I was hoping for that.
Sir, you are the savior. You are the Santa Claus for today for the mathematics. How can Santa Claus escape, sir?
Okay, sir. So I think this is very appropriate. हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन, हो मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम
Counting
होंगे
well, होगी.
कामयाब एक दिन. Thank you.
वंडरफुल सर, वंडरफुल. बिल्कुल कामयाब होंगे सर. मैथ्स का फोबिया रिमूव करने में बिल्कुल हम कामयाब होंगे. We'll be there to get it removed. Had a wonderful time with all of you. I don't know how this 1.5 an hour or more than that passed by, near about 2 hours. It was wonderful interacting.
Sorry
ma'am.
to interrupt. Sir, आपने सबको गवा दिया. आपने तो
He also has to sing. He has to sing.
So, sir, एक
Right.
two lines.
Right.
Before
Sure,
that,
ma'am.
2 lines dedicated to Chandhok sir. 2 lines dedicated to Chandhok sir. खबर ये आसमां की अखबार की है. खबर ये आसमां की अखबार की है. मिस्टर संदोक चले साथ कारवा लेके. मिस्टर संदोक चले तो साथ कारवा चले. बात ये गुरूर की नहीं, एतबार की है. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Wow.
तो जो फरमाइश है मैम, your whatever song you sung earlier, that was also my favorite song. Although I cannot sing as good as you sung, but I'll try. नाम गुम जाएगा, चेहरा ये बदल जाएगा, मेरी आवाज ही पहचान है, घर याद रहे ओ, नाम गुम जाएगा. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Had a wonderful time with you. I hope you also enjoyed. Manmita ma'am, Arundhati ma'am, Jawaid sir, Vishwas sir, Neelam ma'am, Nirmal sir. Hope you had a wonderful time and hope to see you again in another season, another episode. I hope you all liked coming over here, and I hope you will come again with a song along with whatever we have to talk about. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.